Did you know that the key to turning life's biggest problems into its biggest opportunities may have been found more than 2,000 years ago? Imagine being able to handle life's storms with an inner peace that was so strong that nothing could shake it. That sounds like a superpower, doesn't it? This ancient superpower is actually a philosophy that's just as useful today as it was in the busy markets and marble halls of ancient Rome and Greece. Stoicism teaches us that even though we can't control everything in our lives, we have full control over how we react to it. In a world where uncertainty seems to be the only thing that we can be sure of, these teachings could be the anchor we've all been looking for. What if I told you that Stoicism is more about action than thought? It's about living a life full of purpose, resilience and happiness, no matter what life throws at you. It's not about repressing your emotions, it's about understanding and managing them to live a more fulfilling life. So, whether you're dealing with stress, facing hardship, or just looking to find more joy in the everyday, stay tuned today. We're going to dig deep into Stoicism and find out how it can change not only the way we think, but also the way we live. If you're ready to start this journey of change, don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit that like button. Please watch this whole movie without skipping a single second. Each part will help you find the Stoic wisdom that will change your life. Number 1. Focusing on what's in your control. It happens to everyone. You're stuck in traffic, fuming over the delay, or scrolling through your phone, only to get mad over a negative comment someone left on your post. It's like our daily lives are full of little tests that make us question our mood and peace of mind at every turn. But here's a revolutionary idea from the world of Stoicism that can turn all that frustration on its head. Stoicism is an amazing philosophy that comes from ancient Greece and Rome and gives us the powerful tool of focusing on what we can control. The great Stoic philosopher Epicurus once said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, how you react to it." Think about that for a moment. Traffic, bad weather, negative comments. We have no power over these things, and we can't change them, no matter how much we want to. What we can change is how we respond to them. The ancients knew this to be true, and current psychology proves it too. Carl Jung, a famed giant in the area of psychology, said the Stoic practice of "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become" fits in perfectly with this idea. It's about realizing that the only thing we really have control over is our own emotions, thoughts, and actions. Let's break it down. You're stuck in traffic. You can be angry, honk your horn, and stress out during that time, which, let's be honest, won't make the car in front of you go faster. Or you can take a deep breath, accept the situation, and maybe use the time to listen to a podcast, an audiobook, or just some music. The traffic hasn't changed, but how you react to it has. This change makes you feel less stressed and makes your day look a little better. Focusing on what you can control is a Stoic principle that applies to more than just dealing with traffic or bad weather. It also applies to our personal goals, how we treat others, and how we deal with problems in life. As Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic great, says, "You have control over your mind, not outside events." If you find yourself getting upset about something you can't change, remember these wise words from our Stoic friends. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. Focus on your reaction, your mindset, and your actions. This simple shift can have a huge effect on your stress levels and overall happiness. It's not always easy, but it's worth doing every day. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection, and as we learn to focus more on what we can change, we'll not only survive life's challenges, but thrive in spite of them. Number 2, embracing obstacles as opportunities. It may seem counterintuitive, but Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epicurus taught us to see problems as opportunities. When life throws us a curveball, they said, "What can I learn from this?" This is a game changer. Marcus Aurelius, who was Emperor of Rome and a Stoic philosopher, wrote in his personal papers, "What is stopping you from acting moves you to act. What is blocking your path turns into a path." What he means becomes clear. This means that every challenge, no matter how big or scary, not only tries our strength, but also teaches us important lessons. It's about seeing the good in bad events and using that to fuel our growth. Modern minds agree with this point of view as well. For example, the famous psychologist Carl Jung said that what you resist persists. He meant that when we fight against problems, we give them more power over us. But did you know that the key to turning life's biggest problems into its biggest opportunities may have been found more than 2,000 years ago? Imagine being able to handle life's storms with an inner peace that was so strong that nothing could shake it. That sounds like a superpower, doesn't it? This ancient superpower is actually a philosophy that's just as useful today as it was in the busy markets and marble halls of ancient Rome and Greece. Stoicism teaches us that even though we can't control everything in our lives, we have full control over how we react to it. In a world where uncertainty seems to be the only thing that we can be sure of, these teachings could be the anchor we've all been looking for. What if I told you that Stoicism is more about action than thought? It's about living a life full of purpose, resilience, and happiness, no matter what life throws at you. It's not about repressing your emotions. It's about understanding and managing them to live a more fulfilling life. So, whether you're dealing with stress, facing hardship, or just looking to find more joy in the everyday, stay tuned today. We're going to dig deep into Stoicism and find out how it can change not only the way we think, but also the way we live. If you're ready to start this journey of change, don't forget to subscribe, share, and hit that like button. Please watch this whole movie without skipping a single second. Each part will help you find the Stoic wisdom that will change your life. Number 1. Focusing on what's in your control. It happens to everyone. You're stuck in traffic, fuming over the delay, or scrolling through your phone, only to get mad over a negative comment someone left on your post. It's like our daily lives are full of little tests that make us question our mood and peace of mind at every turn. But here's a revolutionary idea from the world of Stoicism that can turn all that frustration on its head. Stoicism is an amazing philosophy that comes from ancient Greece and Rome and gives us the powerful tool of focusing on what we can control. The great Stoic philosopher Epicurus once said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, how you react to it." Think about that for a moment. Traffic, bad weather, negative comments. We have no power over these things, and we can't change them, no matter how much we want to. What we can change is how we respond to them. The ancients knew this to be true, and current psychology proves it too. Carl Jung, a famed giant in the area of psychology, said the Stoic practice of "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become" fits in perfectly with this idea. It's about realizing that the only thing we really have control over is our own emotions, thoughts, and actions. Let's break it down. You're stuck in traffic. You can be angry, honk your horn, and stress out during that time, which, let's be honest, won't make the car in front of you go faster. Or you can take a deep breath, accept the situation, and maybe use the time to listen to a podcast, an audiobook, or just some music. The traffic hasn't changed, but how you react to it has. This change makes you feel less stressed and makes your day look a little better. Focusing on what you can control is a Stoic principle that applies to more than just dealing with traffic or bad weather. It also applies to our personal goals, how we treat others, and how we deal with problems in life. As Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic great, says, "You have control over your mind, not outside events." If you find yourself getting upset about something you can't change, remember these wise words from our Stoic friends. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. Focus on your reaction, your mindset, and your actions. This simple shift can have a huge effect on your stress levels and overall happiness. It's not always easy, but it's worth doing every day. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection, and as we learn to focus more on what we can change, we'll not only survive life's challenges, but thrive in spite of them. Number 2, embracing obstacles as opportunities. It may seem counterintuitive, but Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus taught us to see problems as opportunities. When life throws us a curveball, they said, "What can I learn from this?" This is a game changer. Marcus Aurelius, who was Emperor of Rome and a Stoic philosopher, wrote in his personal papers, "What is stopping you from acting moves you to act. What is blocking your path turns into a path." What he means becomes clear. This means that every challenge, no matter how big or scary, not only tries our strength, but also teaches us important lessons. It's about seeing the good in bad events and using that to fuel our growth. Modern minds agree with this point of view as well. For example, the famous psychologist Carl Jung said that what you resist persists. He meant that when we fight against problems, we give them more power over us. But when lives, it means saying yes to things that help us and no to things that don't, even when it's hard. Making choices like sticking to a workout plan, saving money instead of buying something on a whim, or turning off Netflix to work on a project might not give you quick gratification, but they set you up for long-term success and happiness. Stoic thought has a lot to say about how to be disciplined. Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic thinker, once said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events." Understand this and you will be strong. This strong sentence gets to the heart of self-discipline. It's about being able to control our feelings, actions, and instincts despite the temptations and distractions that life throws at us. Seneca also has a lot to say about this topic. He tells us to be strong and not let our desires control us. He knew that real freedom comes from being able to control our own wants and needs, but why is self-discipline so important? The old Greek philosopher Aristotle sheds light on this topic. He thought that we can achieve excellence and virtue through habit by being self-disciplined. By making habits, we can become our best selves. It's not about having strong willpower once in a while. It's about making choices that are in line with our ideals and goals all the time. Building self-discipline is also related to what we know about psychology today. Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, said that we need to integrate all of our personalities in order to live a full life. This requires self-discipline because we have to deal with the wants and needs of different parts of our minds while choosing paths that are good for our overall health and growth. So how can we build self-discipline in our daily lives? Start small by picking one area you want to improve, like your diet, exercise routine, or spending habits. Take it one day at a time and set clear, attainable goals. Remember that every time you make a choice that helps you reach your goals, you're building self-discipline. Epictetus tells us that great things don't happen all of a sudden. Self-discipline is built by doing small things over and over again. It's about progress, not perfection. Every day is a new chance to practice self-discipline and pick actions that help us become more like the people we want to be. Self-discipline takes time to build. It's about figuring out how to get what we want most and what we want now. It's about making decisions that are tough at the time, but will help us reach our goals. long-term happiness and peace. So let's make this trip together and help each other choose what's right instead of what's easy. Remember that self-discipline is the way to reach our goals and live the life we really want. Number 5. Developing emotional resilience. When life throws us curveballs, we all feel a lot of different feelings at once. It's normal to feel angry, sad, or frustrated as a person. But here's the thing. It's not just about how we feel, it's also about how we deal with them. That's where emotional resilience comes in. Emotional resilience is like a superpower that lets us handle life's storms with grace and come out stronger on the other side. It's about recognizing our feelings, understanding them, and then taking positive steps to move forward instead of letting them sweep us away. Socrates had a lot to say about this. As Marcus Aurelius says, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events." If you understand this, you will find power that goes deep. Understanding that we can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it, is at the heart of emotional resiliency. Don't need to control what we do. Seneca gives us advice on how to deal with problems without losing our cool. He says that life's problems test our character and strength. By learning and patiently facing our feelings, we can become smarter and stronger. But how do we build this emotional strength? Knowing yourself is the first step. Being aware of our emotions and reactions helps us understand ourselves better. It's okay to feel what we're feeling, but we don't have to act on them right away. Instead, we can choose to act in a way that supports our goals and long-term health. Aristotle talked about the golden mean, which is the point where too much and too little are equal. This idea fits perfectly with emotional resilience. It's about dealing with our feelings in a healthy way, rather than ignoring them or letting them take over. Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, said that to be whole, we need to integrate all parts of our minds. Part of this process is facing our feelings, understanding them, and learning from them. This is what it means to become emotionally strong. So what can you do when you're feeling really sad or angry? First, let yourself feel what you're feeling without judging them. Then, take a step back and try to figure out what made you feel that way. This reflection can help. You learn more about your emotional habits and what sets them off. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it." This is a powerful reminder that how we deal with our feelings can shape our lives. We don't have to react. We can choose to react in a way that is helpful and healing. To become emotionally strong, you have to practice awareness, self-reflection, and patience. It means putting together a set of ways to deal with things, like writing in a notebook, talking to a trusted friend, or practicing relaxation techniques. The most important thing is to be kind and compassionate to yourself as you deal with your feelings. That doesn't mean you should never feel bad emotions. It means learning to handle them with grace and coming out of them better and more self-aware. This is what emotional resilience is all about. We give ourselves the strength to handle life's challenges with poise and bravery. Let's embrace this journey together and help each other become more emotionally strong so that we can live a more fulfilling life. Number 6. Remembering you will die. Right now, Maury, remember that you will die. The Stoics, including great thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, used this idea not to scare people, but to make them appreciate every moment more. They thought that by remembering that we would die, we would live more fully consciously and with gratitude for the present. Marcus Aurelius often thought about the transience of life in his meditations, encouraging us to live in a way that's true to our values and to make the most of the time we're given. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. This isn't a morbid thought. It's a call to action, a reminder to focus on what really matters, to let go of small worries, and to live with purpose and integrity. Seneca also talked about how short life is and told us not to waste time on useless things, but to focus on making our lives important. He thought that thinking about death makes us smarter and more appreciative of our relationships and experiences. Epictetus stressed how important it is to live in the present and make the most of our time by remembering that we won't live forever. If we do this, we're more likely to be moral and enjoy the beauty and richness of life. But how can we incorporate memento mori into our own lives without it feeling like a dark cloud over our heads? It starts with shifting our perspective. Instead of seeing the awareness of death as something fearful, we can view it as a powerful motivator to live our lives to the fullest. It's about embracing the present, not postponing our dreams or happiness for some undefined future that's not guaranteed. Think about the things you've been putting off. Maybe it's pursuing a passion, reconnecting with loved ones, or simply taking time to appreciate the small joys of everyday life. Memento mori reminds us not to take our time for granted. It encourages us to live more authentically, to say what we mean, to love openly, and to be present in our lives. This concept also teaches us to appreciate the impermanence of life, which in turn deepens our gratitude for the moments we have. When we remember that our time is limited, we are more likely to cherish our experiences, to live more mindfully, and to express our attitude for the people and moments that enrich our lives. So let's use memento mori not as a source of fear, but as a catalyst for growth, gratitude, and a deeper appreciation of life. Let it remind us to make choices that align with our deepest values, to cherish our relationships, and to savor the beauty of the present moment. Remembering that we will die one day makes us live each day more fully. Memento mori is a powerful reminder to live not in fear of death, but in celebration of life. Let's make every moment count, not because we're afraid of the end, but because we love life itself. Let's live so that when our time comes, we can look back and not feel regret, because we lived fully, loved deeply, and appreciated the amazing journey that life has been. Number 7. Practice gratitude. Being grateful means noticing and enjoying the good things in your life. This habit can improve your mental health, make your relationships better, and give you a better view on life. By thinking about what we're grateful for, we can change our mindset from one of lack to one of plenty, which will make us happier and more happy. How to understand gratitude. It's not enough to just say, "Thank you." It means noticing and appreciating the good things in our lives more, no matter how big or small they are. Think about the things, people, situations, chances, and even problems that have helped you grow, that make you grateful. Daily practice of gratitude. Write down 3 things you are thankful for every morning or every night. Writing this down can be done in a notebook or an app on your phone. Keep things the same. Making this a daily habit can help you keep a happy attitude. How to show thankfulness. Show others you appreciate them. You can show your appreciation by writing thank you cards, telling someone thank you in person, or doing something nice for them. Regularly thank people for their hard work and kindness. Being mindful and present. Mindfulness can help you fully feel and value the present moment. Being present makes it easier to notice and enjoy good things that happen to you, which makes you feel more grateful. Changing the view. Even if it's just a lesson learned or a chance to grow, try to find something to be thankful for when things are hard. Focus on what you can learn or how you can grow from bad situations, instead of how they made you feel. It's possible to improve our general health and make our relationships stronger and better by practicing gratitude every day. Being thankful helps us see what we do have instead of what we don't have, which makes our lives more satisfying and happy. Shifting our focus to what we have instead of what we're missing can have a huge effect on our lives. It's amazing how such a simple idea can have such a big effect. Share. Especially on days when everything seems like a fight, the Stoics had a lot to say about gratitude. They believed that happiness doesn't come from having more, but from being grateful for what we already have. Many times Marcus Aurelius wrote about how important it is to live in the present and find happiness in the little things. For example, he said, "When you wake up in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This is gratitude in its purest form." Seneca talked about how our wants can lead us astray, always wanting more and never finding true satisfaction. Putting our attention on what we already have and realizing that the best things in life are close at hand can help us be truly happy. Epictetus, who was known for his practical approach to Stoicism, told his followers to be grateful for whatever they were going through at the time. He thought that by accepting and finding value in our present situation, we could live a more fulfilling life. But how do we practice gratitude, especially when life throws us curveballs? It starts with making it a daily habit to think about 3 things you're thankful for. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a conversation with a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. This helps to rewire our brains to focus on the good, which improves our mood and outlook on life as a whole. Being grateful also means embracing challenges and finding lessons in them instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" We can ask ourselves, "What can I learn from this?" This change in perspective can help us see both the good and the bad things that happen to us as important steps on our journey. Practicing gratitude also helps us connect with others more deeply. When we show our appreciation for the people in our lives, we not only make their day, but we also make our relationships stronger. A simple "thank you" can show someone how much you care about and love them. Aristotle talked about how important it is to see the good in our lives and try to live a good life. He also thought that gratitude was a key part of achieving eudaimonia, or true happiness, because it helps us see the good in ourselves and in the world around us. Modern psychology backs up these ideas. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude have less anxiety, sleep better, and have a more positive outlook on life. As Carl Jung said, happiness would lose its meaning if it weren't balanced by sadness. By recognizing and being grateful for all of our experiences, we find a deeper, more authentic form of happiness. Let's make gratitude a part of our daily lives and celebrate the little wins. Treasure the times you spend with people and enjoy the little things in life. If we focus on what we have instead of what we're missing, we can find inner peace and happiness. Remember that happiness doesn't make us grateful. Gratitude makes us happy. We should raise our glasses to the beauty of being thankful in our lives and say, "Cheers" to finding the silver lining, even on the worst days. Number 8. Focusing on personal excellence. The Stoics had a deep understanding of personal excellence. They believed that virtue, or excellence, was the only good, and that everything we did should be aimed at living a virtuous life. Marcus Aurelius was a great example of someone who sought personal excellence. He once said, "Don't waste any more time arguing about what a good man should be." This simple but powerful statement sums up the essence of personal excellence. It's about living by the values we admire every day. Sebastian stressed how important it was to learn and improve oneself. He pushed for a life in harmony with nature and reason, saying that real excellence comes from within and shows up in our action and decisions. Epictetus talked about how important personal responsibility is for achieving excellence. He taught that we have control over our reactions, emotions, and will, and that mastering them is key to living a good life. But what does focusing on personal excellence look like in our everyday lives? It starts with setting personal standards based on our values and goals, not on what other people have done or what society expects of us. Knowing who we are, what our skills and weaknesses are, and taking steady steps to get better is what it means. Personal excellence is also about how we deal with setbacks and failures, not just our successes. As Aristotle said, excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of sincere effort, high intention, and smart execution. It is the wise choice among many alternatives. Your fate is decided by your choices, not by chance. This means seeing problems as chances to learn and grow instead of as problems that need to be solved. Focusing on personal excellence also means developing a growth mindset, which is a modern psychological idea that has become popular. It is the idea that we can improve our skills and knowledge by working hard and being dedicated. This way of thinking helps us deal with setbacks, accept difficulties, and see work as a way to mastery. Personal excellence also means living in an honest way, staying true to our ideals and selves even when it's hard, making decisions that show who we are and who we want to be, and being proud of our journey, including the ups and downs. As we've already talked about, practicing gratitude is related to personal excellence. When we appreciate what we have and where we are on our journey, we cultivate a positive attitude that helps our growth and well-being. Let's make a promise to focus on personal excellence. Let's make our own rules, take pride in our progress, and remember that it's not about being perfect. It's about being proud of who we are and how we live. It's about enjoying our efforts. Let's make personal excellence not just a goal, but a way of life. Let's learn from our mistakes and always try to be the best versions of ourselves. Number 9. Not caring what others think. In a world full of social media where likes, follows, and comments often determine our self-worth, it's easy to fall into the trap of judging ourselves by what other people think. But here's a freeing truth. Your worth doesn't come from what other people think of you. It comes from being true to yourself, accepting who you are, and living in line with your values. The Stoics are the ancient thinkers we keep coming back to for advice. Classical wisdom had a lot to say about this. They taught that we can find inner peace and freedom by focusing on our actions, thoughts, and honesty, rather than the changing views of others. Marcus Aurelius said something smart. There's something about guys that makes me wonder why they love themselves more than anyone else, but care less about what other people think of them. This interesting observation shows the paradox that many of us live with when we value other people's opinions over our own. Seneca agreed with this idea and stressed how important it is to live a life that is true to yourself and not based on other people's expectations or approval. He believed that real happiness comes from living a life that is in line with our principles and values. Epictetus taught that worrying about what other people think is pointless because we can't change it. Instead, he said, we should focus on our own actions and living a good life, because that's where our real power lies. So how can we start caring less about what other people think and more about being true to ourselves? First, realize that you write your own life story and define your own worth, not society, not your social media followers, not the people around you. It's about basing your self-esteem on who you are, the values you stand for, the kindness you show, and the work you put into being your best self. Think about yourself. Third, ask yourself, whose life am I living? Am I making choices based on my wants or am I trying to fit into someone else's mold? Thinking about these questions can help you get back in touch with your true self. Being vulnerable. Being honest with yourself means letting people know about your flaws and realizing that perfection is a lie. It's okay to be a work in progress, make mistakes, and learn from them. From them, this honesty brings the right people into your life, those who take time to respect the real you. And remember what Aristotle said. We talked about the golden mean and how to find balance in our lives. Care about what other people think. It's about finding a good balance between taking comments seriously and keeping our independence and sense of self-worth. By adopting a tough attitude in our lives means realizing that our worth is based on the good things we do, our deeds, and our desire to live a meaningful life, not by what other people say or do, praise or approval. It's about building a strong inner fortress that can't be shaken by short-lived things. Let's resolve to value ourselves for who we really are, regardless of what other people think. Not because of the likes, follows, or support we get. Let's be brave in our living lives that are true to ourselves and in line with our core beliefs. Remember, self-worth comes from being yourself, and being true to yourself makes you shine. Let's not only get through life, but also shine a light in the most honest way possible, thrive in it, with the peace of mind that comes from knowing our actions are truly in line with our ideals and being honest with ourselves. Number 10, accept change. Now here's the deal. Not only do we have to accept change, it's also important for our growth and happiness. The truth is that life only changes all the time. When you learn to accept that things will change in your life, going through them is less scary and more like a journey. The Stoics had a very healthy view of change. They saw it as a normal part of the universe's rhythm. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept whatever comes your way, because it is part of your destiny and it will better meet your needs." Being able to deeply accept that change is a part of life helps us see that every change, whether we think it's good or bad, has a place in our story. Seneca taught us that being too attached to the things that are happening to us now can make us unhappy because they will change eventually. He told us to be flexible and understand that change is not only a part of life, but also a necessary part of our growth and happiness. Epictetus encouraged us to distinguish between what we can control and what we can't. He pointed out that while we can't control external events, we can control our attitudes towards them. This mindset is incredibly empowering when it comes to dealing with change. It's about focusing on our responses, finding the opportunities for growth within the change, and moving forward with resilience. But how can we become more accepting of change first? By acknowledging that change is inevitable. It's the natural order of things. Everything around us is in a constant state of flux. Seasons change, people come and go, and even our cells are rebuilding right now. Accepting change means accepting life itself. Second, by practicing mindfulness. Being present in the present moment lets us enjoy our experiences without holding on to them. This awareness makes room for acceptance when those experiences change or end. Third, by looking for the lessons in change. Every change in our lives, no matter how hard, is an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective can turn the challenges of change into opportunities for growth. Stepping stones for growth as a person, Aristotle said that living a good life was the key to happiness. Part of being good is being able to adapt to life's changes with grace and knowledge. It's about finding balance and harmony in life's ups and downs. This tough method to change is supported by modern psychology. Seeing change as a chance instead of a threat can greatly lower our stress and anxiety levels. It can also make us more resilient, so we're better prepared to handle whatever life throws at us. Let's remind ourselves that we shouldn't just deal with change. We should welcome it as a natural part of our trip that will make it more interesting. When we accept change, we make room for new experiences. Let's ride the waves of change with courage, grace, and an open heart to all the wonderful possibilities that change brings. Remember that going with the flow isn't a passive thing to do. It's an active way to deal with life in all its dynamic complexity. Number 11. Practice compassion and empathy. Even though we are different, we are all in this together as we navigate the complicated path of life. By helping others understand and care about us, we can make the world a kinder, more loving place. Stoics, those ancient philosophers whose timeless wisdom continues to enlighten us, put a lot of value on compassion and empathy. They believed that all people are connected and taught that being kind and understanding to others is an important part of living a good life. Marcus Aurelius, for example, reminded us that people are social creatures by nature and should live in harmony and cooperation with each other. He said that what doesn't help one person hurts everyone else. This beautiful quote from "The hive brings none to the bee" shows how our happiness is connected to the happiness of others. Seneca stressed how important it is to be kind and generous to others. He said that compassion is a natural human instinct, and that by helping others, we also help ourselves. In his writings, Seneca encourages us to feel sorry for people who have hurt us, knowing that they are also acting out of their own struggles and limitations. Epictetus taught us to try to see things from other people's points of view, realizing that everyone has a reason for doing what they do. This doesn't mean that we should tolerate harmful behavior, but rather that we should approach others with empathy, wanting to understand their experiences and points of view. But how can we show compassion and empathy in our daily lives? It starts with listening, truly listening to the stories, experiences, and feelings of those around us. It's about putting ourselves in their shoes and picturing their struggles, joys, fears, and hopes. Understanding can bring people together and make them feel like they are part of a larger human family. Random acts of kindness, like a smile, a kind word, or just listening, can also make a big difference in someone's day. By being present and paying attention to others, we show that we care about them and that their feelings and experiences are valid and important. Showing compassion and empathy also means being there for others when they need help and support without passing judgment. It's about understanding that everyone is valuable and worthy, no matter how different we are. Ancient Greek thinker Aristotle wrote about how important friendship is and how understanding is a key part of making relationships last. He thought that true friends not only share each other's happiness, but also their sadness, helping each other through it with understanding and compassion. Modern psychology backs up the Stoics' focus on compassion and empathy by showing that these qualities improve not only our relationships, but also our own emotional health. By caring about others, to make the world a kinder, gentler place, and to find more meaning and happiness in our own lives, let's remind ourselves that behind every face is a story, and behind every action is a reason. By understanding and caring for each other, we not only make the lives of those around us better, but we also find more meaning and happiness in our own. Let's spread kindness like confetti, making ripples of compassion that change the world one act of empathy at a time. Number 12. Reflect and review regularly. This is about pausing in a world that's always moving forward, a real stop to think about what we've done, what we've thought, and the paths we've taken. It's about growth, self-reflection, and making sure our lives are in line with our deepest values. The Stoics, who had deep understanding of human nature, put a lot of value on the practice of reflection. It's what keeps us from getting carried away and makes sure we're going in the right direction. Marcus Aurelius set an example for this in his personal writings, which we now hold as treasures of meditations. He didn't just run an empire, he also took the time to think about his life, his choices, and his moral compass. He thought that writing about this kind of reflection was important for living a good life with a purpose. He wrote that the happiness of your life rests on the quality of your thoughts, which reminds us that what we say to ourselves affects what we see around us. Seneca suggested that people regularly evaluate themselves as a way to grow wise and improve themselves. He said that life was like a play, and suggested that we should look at our parts and performances from time to time to see if they are in line with the character we want to play, and if they are in line with the script of our lives. Epictetus told his students to think about what they did and how they felt at the end of each day. His message wasn't to criticize ourselves, but to become more self-aware and grow. He told us to ask ourselves, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? By asking ourselves these kinds of questions, we can more consciously steer our lives and make changes that bring us closer to our ideals. But how can we bring this Stoic practice of reflection and review into our modern lives? One way is to make it a habit to set aside a few minutes every day, maybe before bed, to think about your day and what you did well. Where did you face problems, and how did you deal with them? This practice can start out as a mental workout, but writing it down can make it more useful by giving you a physical record of your trip. Second, as you think back on your day, be thankful for the little things that brought you joy or gratitude. This will help you fight the urge to focus on the bad things, which will help you have a more positive outlook on life. Finally, be kind and compassionate to yourself as you do this practice. When you think, you shouldn't berate yourself for mistakes. Instead, you should see them as chances to learn and grow. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would give to a close friend. Aristotle talked about how important it was to live a life of reflection. He thought that true wisdom comes from knowing ourselves, our actions, and our place in the world. In modern psychology, reflection is the key to living a life that is examined and in line with virtue and excellence. There is a lot of evidence that daily reflection is good for your mental health, finding your mission, and growing as a person. Thinking about what we've been through helps us deal with our feelings. We should learn from our mistakes and make better choices. As we move forward, let's make it a habit to regularly think and review. Taking the time to look back gives us the insight we need to move forward more aligned, more aware, and more in tune with the essence of who we are and who we want to be. Let's cherish this journey of introspection, for it is in knowing ourselves that we find the path to true fulfillment and joy. Remember that it's not the problems we face along the way that define us, but the strength we find in facing them. Every step, thought, and act of kindness is a brushstroke in the masterpiece that is your life. So let's not just exist, let's live vibrantly, purposefully, and authentically. As we part ways today, I encourage you not to let the inspiration end here on the screen. You'll find a treasure of a playlist. It's full of wise stories and tips to help you handle life's ups and downs with grace and strength. Click on it to learn more and keep shaping the most authentic version of yourself. Let's keep growing, reflecting, and embracing the beautiful complexity of life. Thank you for spending time with me today. Until we meet again. Don't live your life just for the praise. Live it for the reason of being your true self. Take care, and I'll see you on the next part of our journey.